Hello everyone, this is Southern Belle Whisper. I decided to go ahead and do my true crime facts video for you guys. I also decided to do this video outside. It is such a beautiful day today. I can feel fall. Fall is in the air, thank God. There's birds chirping, and it's also kind of creepy in a way, with true crime and everything. So, I found on BuzzFeed 18 serial killer facts that are equally interesting and haunting. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Okay, number 1. When the police arrested Ed Gein, his house was a pigsty. They found countless body parts from his various grave-digging exertions, including a bag of wilted vajayjays and the infamous skin lampshade and half-finished women's suit made of human skin. However, his mother's room was pristine and untouched. I'm sorry about the dog barking. There is always something going on around here. Okay. 2. While being interrogated, Gein asked for a cup of coffee and a slice of apple pie with cheese on top. Years later, Travis Bickle and taxi driver ordered this exact same meal. 3. Pee Wee Gaskins, the most prolific serial killer in South Carolina, drove around in a hearse with a bumper sticker that read, "We haul anything living or dead." 4. The bodies buried beneath John Wayne Gacy's house were crammed together so tightly the bones fused together, and it took over 2 years to separate all the skeletons. 5. The hillside stranglers picked up a young woman to murder. Then they discovered that her father was Peter Lorre, a legendary Hollywood character actor. They let her go because they feared that killing a celebrity's daughter would bring too much attention. 6. Jeffrey Dahmer gave the people in his apartment building sandwiches that could have possibly been made from his victims' flesh. Soft ASMR, her recent true crime was about Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know about you guys, but I love Soft ASMR or Sam's true crime videos, and she's doing one every Thursday this month, which is very exciting. 7. Jeffrey Dahmer worked in a chocolate factory. 8. The BTK killer installed alarms at several people's houses because of their fear of the BTK killer. 9. Mac Ray Edwards was a serial killer who worked for Caltrans. He'd kill his victims and then buried the bodies in places he would later help build the highways over. Not all his victims have been found, and many are very likely still under some of the California highways he may have driven over countless times. 10. Albert Fish would stick needles into his pelvis when he was doing stuff to himself. I'll just say that. I'll probably put age restriction on this video. Nobody under the age of 16 needs to watch this video, probably. 11. Brazilian serial killer Little Petey murdered over 40 people in prison. He began by murdering the gang that killed his girlfriend and then stabbing his father, who was in prison for killing his mother during a visit. He was well liked because he was considered a sort of avenger despite killing indiscriminately within prison, no difference between drug possession and a murderer. 12. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't eat people with tattoos because he said the ink made the flesh taste weird. 13. The BTK actually makes people fill out an application to write him in prison. 14. Ted Bundy worked at a suicide prevention hotline center. 15. The FBI estimates anywhere between 150 to 2,000 active serial killers in the U.S. Wow. 16. Ted Bundy helped in the investigation of the Green River Killer and made a psych profile which ended up being closer to the actual Green River Killer than FBI's own psych profile. 17. Charles Manson's mother once traded him for a pitcher of beer. 18. Randall Woodfield, the I-5 killer, was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the 17th round of the NFL draft. Okay, let's see if I can find any more. Okay, here's 25 more. 1. The Golden State Killer, who committed at least 13 murders between 1974 and 1986, was known for breaking into his victims' houses, undressing and then standing at the entrance of their bedroom, tapping and scraping his long knife against the door frame until they woke up. 2. He was also known for turning on the victim's TV, placing a cloth over the screen, and using the glow as a light source while he tortured them. 3. When he was eventually arrested, the police noted that the computer in his bedroom also had a cloth over it. It was suggested that this was done purposely so he could relive the murders. 4. In the early 1920s, a German family and their new maid were brutally murdered on their farm. However, the family's patriarch had reported several strange incidents in the months before the murders. 5. These included footprints in the snow leading up to the farm and in the attic, despite there being none leading away from the property. Keys went missing and a strange newspaper was found. In fact, the family's former housekeeper had left her job in the months leading up to the murders because she believed the house was haunted. 6. It's therefore been posited that the killer was actually hiding in the attic for a period of 6 months before the murders. 7. Jeffrey Dahmer, who was convicted of 15 homicides, admitted to cooking and eating some of his victims. In fact, he even gave the people in his apartment building sandwiches which may have contained their flesh. 8. Dahmer was also, this is a serious one. Dahmer was also known to drill holes in the heads of his victims before injecting acid into their brains in a bid to turn them into complaint zombies. 9. In fact, the life of one such victim could have been spared had Dahmer not been so charming to the police. 10. The Oakland County child killer murdered at least 4 children between 1976 and 1977. The parents of one of the adopted boys held a press conference in which they begged for their son to be returned. His mother directed part of the pill to her son, saying she would feed him his favorite meal of KFC when he got home. 11. Days later, the boy's body was discovered. He was wearing freshly cleaned and pressed clothing, and his stomach contents revealed that his last meal had been KFC chicken. 12. Joe Mahoney would put his victims and then mixed their flesh with animal meat to sell as burgers at his fast food stand. 13. Robert Hansen, who killed 17 women over 12 years, was known for kidnapping his victims before sending them loose in the Knit River Valley, where he would track and hunt them like animals using a knife and rifle. 14. Isaiah Segawa, a Japanese student studying for a PhD in France, killed and then ate part of his classmates' remains. After being caught attempting to dump the rest of her body in a lake, Segawa was eventually sent back to Japan. 15. However, he was never tried for the crime in his homeland and actually became a celebrity there. He appeared on talk shows, embarked on speaking tours, wrote 18 books, worked as a food critic, and even starred in soft-core porn movies. 16. Most chillingly of all, though, Segawa admitted in 2013 that he still has the same desires to kill and devour other women. I like elegant women, he said. I like intelligence and beauty. And when I am able to see all that in one person, then I cannot help but wonder what she might taste like. Even the bird's like, yeah, that's gross. 17. Serial killer Robert Pecton fed some of the bodies of his 49 victims to pigs on his farm, or else put them through an industrial meat grinder, mixed it with pork, and sold it to meat processing businesses, family members, friends, and even the local police. 18. The body of pharmacology student Annie Lee was discovered in a cable chase inside the wall of a university basement laboratory 5 days after going missing, and on the day she was due to be married. 19. A university laboratory technician was charged and convicted of the crime. Described by those that knew him as a clean freak, it's believed that he committed the murder after becoming angry with the conditions of Lee's lab. 20. David Parker Ray, the toy box killer, abducted and drugged his victims. When they woke up, they were played recordings in which he described in detail the torture they'd experienced over the next 30 days. 21. Rodney Alakila, aka the dating game killer, won an episode of the dating game in 1978, right in the middle of his murder spree. 22. Despite being one of the most prolific serial killers of all time, Ted Bundy actually once worked at a suicide hotline and saved a 3-year-old child from drowning in a pool. 23. Leonarda, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Leonarda was an Italian woman who, in 1939, learned that her eldest and favorite son was to join the Italian army. She believed that the only way to ensure his safety was through human sacrifices. 24. Over the course of a couple months, she murdered 3 women from their neighborhood. Afterwards, she pulled their bodies and turned them into tea cakes and bars of soap, which she distributed to friends and neighbors. 25. And finally, after Albert Fish killed and ate a 10-year-old girl, he wrote a letter to her mother describing how sweet and tender her body was and how it had taken him 9 days to consume all of the corpse. Ew, gross. Now I think I know why Sam doesn't want to do a true. She's mentioned several times that a lot of people have asked her to do a true crime on Albert Fish, and I see why she doesn't want to do one about him. I've read a lot about him, and it's pretty gross. Alright, you guys. That is it for today, but I'll give you a nice big view of the beautiful sky. I love it here. My lawn's a mess though, but our landlord had actually cleared a piece of the woods and then put this trailer here, and we're on stilts. Like, here's the steps going up, and it's just so nice here. It's so secluded. I love it. So I thought it would be the perfect atmosphere to do a true crime facts video for you guys. And I will leave a warning and description about the age restriction. Alright, I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope you enjoyed this video.